Hello world and true believers. I know I just made a video about this, but I wanted to make a quick addendum or follow up it, to what I just said in that from to kind of explain how I compensate because I think that might be also be helpful. Like I think in patterns, so and in some ways my brain works almost like a Excel spreadsheet, or like I definitely feel like I there's like it's almost like there's information in the back of my brain fragmenting and defragmenting, constantly looking for patterns and connections. Like if I close my eyes and when I meditate, it's almost like I can see it, I can feel things clicking into place, all the information. But when I'm trying to figure out people, the way I see them and why it takes me a little longer is because the way I understand people is I study their behavior. I look for I see how our conversations evolve over time. Do words match actions? Do they coincide with actions? What are their patterns? Like, are there discrepancies? Are there gaps within their patterns? Are there anomalies? Um, and how things change. And like once, usually a person has a type of a pattern which you can learn over time. Um, and I can tell that there's something wrong if there's a change in that pattern. I don't always know what that means. Maybe it's nothing, but maybe it's something. And the thing is, the difference is that a lot of times I have to ask. 'Cause sometimes the not knowing is what will kill me. Like if I know somebody and their pattern suddenly, I get to know their pattern and suddenly it changes. I'll sense a shift, and I don't always know what that means. Sometimes I'll just let it play out, but sometimes the uncertainty is difficult, and I'll want to ask. And I know, like to certain people, that will come off to them as insecurity, but it's not. It's just that because I can't read people the way other people do. Again, the whole color blindness thing, where because I've come up with my own unique coping mechanisms, I still can't see certain things, some once I usually after a while, like once, because there are patterns within patterns. So maybe like once those pattern shifts, they'll maybe over a number of years you'll start to realize that like every few months they'll have a pattern shift at this time because it's like an anniversary or because this or whatever, they'll start to act different or whatever. But still, once again, until you learn their overall pattern, which is something that's gonna take years to do, you're not gonna know. And for me, that's how I kind of understand people. They're like puzzles to me, and until I have all the puzzle pieces, I can't see the whole thing. And but that's kind of how I understand people. Um, and I know that for other people reading me, I'm off because of the fact that I'm Aspie and I don't act the way people think I should sometimes. Like I know that more often than not, like I'll meet somebody and they're like, the person I thought you were initially is, my first impression of you was totally wrong. Um, which is also sometimes why I give people like the benefit of the doubt for too long, is because I don't want to make assumptions about people, and sometimes I want things to play out. Even if I get a sense sometimes that someone might be toxic to me or not a good person or whatever, I'll probably let things play out a little too long because I always want to give someone the benefit of the doubt, because I know people more often than not will meet me and they'll some often I like to say people with an aspy nature, where like a real life litmus test for other people's unresolved and unacknowledged bullshit. Because I think that people that have a lot of problems, when they meet us, they will have the tendency to project all of that onto us, and they more often than not will not like us because it's like somehow, like it's like because they can't read us, they begin to project all their insecurities onto us, and that makes things difficult. So it took me a long time to figure that out, but now that I have, I make sure I try, but I still, a lot of times I want to give those people the benefit of the doubt, and I don't want to alienate them, because I don't necessarily think that's somebody's fault that they have issues and stuff, but they'll get mad. Like they'll think I'm mad when I'm not mad, or they'll like I don't know. It's very interesting. They'll like, because I don't make good eye contact. They'll think it means all kinds of different things, and even when I tell them that, they still will make assumptions, and that's difficult because they don't try to neurotypicals are less likely to ask questions. Like if they see you doing something, they'll just make assumptions. Where I know people don't feel comfortable with those types of questions, but if someone's doing something that I'm not sure about, I want to ask questions. People ask me questions that I don't like, intrusive questions, like, like, what are you doing right now? Why do you care what, like, and I asked someone the other day, I'm like, do you really want to know what I'm doing at the moment? Like, do you want me to list out, like, I just draw my pencil and I picked up, like, why do people ask that question? It's intrusive, and do you really want me to list out the things I'm doing? But I guess what you're supposed to do is just telling something interesting you did that day or something. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. I rather ask people interesting questions about their life, or like ask them questions about why things change. But people don't like that. Like if people start to ask weird of, like, something seems off, what does that mean? And they'll be like, oh, and they'll make excuses and they don't want to tell you. And sometimes I wonder if it's because people are not very self-aware or they're not comfortable. I'm not sure. People don't always want to talk about those things. I also don't. I think that people, not always at Aspies, but I mean, I think that because I think female Aspies definitely are much more introspective because we internalize things. So I think for a really long time we've been forced to look in that proverbial mirror. We're much more comfortable with doing that than I think other people are. And I can't speak for everybody, but I know that I do that. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm better than anybody else, but I know that I'm constantly trying to figure out if I'm the source of whatever. Because I'm not sure, and people don't always want to say. Okay, so I hope that these videos are helpful. Again, if anybody has any questions or any feedback, I'm more than happy to discuss it with you. All right, thank you, and have a good day, everybody. Bye.